open-ended topic that we have. Throw us a curveball.
Ooh, productivity. Yeah. So that's a great one. That's a great one. I can take off on that one. So a good productivity tool that I've been using recently is the Pomodoro method. It is basically 25-minute sprints of complete focus that you're able to fully give yourself to a certain task. And the great thing about this is that if you are like myself, and the majority of people I know, you work best in terms of a certain amount of a due date, and that's why we did so well in school. We were pretty much structured and programmed to know deadlines and to know dates in that way. And it can be kind of challenging whenever you get into the real world, not even the real world, but the world of entrepreneurship, the world of freelancing, the world of being accountable to yourself and only yourself. Because if you're working on your own project, you don't have the person, you don't have the client breathing down your back in that level and that capacity, which can usually, whenever you do have the specific two line in line where you have your own personal project and you have a client project, you're going to typically always prioritize the clients more than you because they're paying you money. They're saying, all right, where's this, where this, where this. But the Pomodoro is a perfect example of building in that urgency factor of being a human when it comes to productivity. So basically, there's plugins on the computer. There's two that myself and Jared have been using. One's just BeFocus that is on the laptop in general, and there's one that actually it's built into Google Chrome and it blocks off certain websites that you do. So I usually switch between the two because I work on social media as well. So whenever I'm not actually working on social media, on my Facebook page, I have a Facebook news eradicator on there. So I actually like Tyler Durden, Fight Club, inspirational quotes, which is great because if I were typically to go on Facebook, I would just get lost in those 5 minutes accumulations of getting lost whenever I'm going for a different task and I end up scrolling on the feeds accumulates to hours and days of the years accumulated. But basically the Pomodoro method is 25 minutes, turn it on, turn everything else off. You have a task at hand and then you want to complete that task in that 25 minutes. You take a 5-minute break at the end of it, do this for 2 hours, and you take a 20-minute break. And it's been very helpful for myself personally and the people I've been recommending it to. So very really stoked about that.
You get the actual tomato timer.
Ooh.
Like you on Amazon. Like actually like a timer shaped like a tomato, 25 minutes, right?
Exactly.
Pomodoro.
25 minutes.
Yeah, that level and having something specific like that in place and having it on, having a physical note. And the great things about even whenever I started work with Mark is we had an hourglass with us at all time, which is the power hour, and it's something we very much need for the story space.
I ordered a new one off of Kickstarter. There's like this new one that this company made, but I still haven't received it yet. But I have one upstairs and it's kind of like shitty.
Tell us about the power hour.
Well, okay. So the power hour concept is simple. It's you buy an hourglass online. Normally it's like made in China. So it's not actually perfectly an hour, but the idea is that you turn the hourglass and for that entire time that the sand is going, you're focusing on one single task. And the idea is that you are like most of our lack of productivity comes from us switching tasks all the time. So we're getting these notifications, and through those notifications, we're going through all these different things. And I'm friends with this guy, James Clear, who's he writes a ton about productivity and how we can be 1% better than we were yesterday and not focus on like exponential growth, but realize that exponential growth is done by small increments every day, stacking upon themselves. But the main thing that he was talking about when it comes to productivity and distractions was every time you're distracted, you now it takes you a minute to get back into the task that you're doing. And the average person gets distracted every 5 minutes. So every 6th minute, you are gone. Like you are not in any amount of productivity. You are not doing anything, let alone the time that you were actually distracted. So every 5 minutes you get distracted, you were distracted, let's say for a minute, and then it takes you another minute to get back into the task you were doing originally.
Apparently it's even worse for men.
Really?
Yeah, like on a like structure of our brains, men have like larger nodes and smaller pathways, so we're able to focus more on something. But if we get distracted, or if we switch our focus over to something else, then like
Yeah.
coming back to that is harder. And for women, it's easier because they have larger pathways.
I've actually, a little bit sidetracked, but read that all those things are learned and that we're born, our brains are not all that different. And so these things are actually taught us and told to us over and over. And so they become real.
Interesting.
I read an article on it this past week.
Boom.
It's all a figment of our imagination that becomes reality.
Yeah.
Creating a reality.
Yeah. We're definitely creating something.